He's like Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, there it is. Get the Lysol out. You got to clean that stuff up. Really, you can't leave that stuff on the walls. Go ahead, clean it up. Because he's like him because he's smart.
Teddy Atlas has set the boxing world buzzing with his bold claim that Jake Paul could actually beat Mike Tyson. And what's even more shocking, Atlas compared Jake Paul's tactical approach to none other than Floyd Mayweather.
August, I'm back, baby. Let's get it.
In his analysis, Atlas dives into the critical details, highlighting Tyson's age and the physical limits that come with it, explaining how Jake's youth and stamina might just give him the edge. Is Atlas onto something, or is this prediction too wild to believe? Teddy Atlas didn't hold back in his analysis of the risks Jake Paul faces stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson. While he's recognized Paul's strengths and potential edge in youth, Atlas issued a serious warning about the unpredictable fire Tyson could still bring. According to Atlas, Paul can't afford to get too comfortable or rely solely on his training to carry him through.
I'll tell you one thing. Early on, Jake better be alert the first couple rounds, because one thing that a former great fighter like Tyson could do is still punch. The power is the last thing to leave you.
Atlas raised a question that's on the minds of many fight fans. Is this bout going to be a legitimate test, or could there be some prearranged outcome behind the scenes? Tyson's explosive power, even at 58, remains a factor that could end the fight early if Jake doesn't stay sharp.
If Jake gets careless early on, if it's real, if there's not an agreement in place, I don't know. I don't know. But if it's not pre-scripted, if this isn't pre-scripted for Netflix, and it's real, you know, and Tyson comes out there firing the way, you know, that he used to fire, and he can do it for a couple rounds, it could be interesting.
Atlas's words paint a vivid picture of the dangers Jake could face if Tyson decides to unleash that legendary power, even if just for the first few rounds. With the fight's authenticity now under question, fans are left wondering, can Jake Paul handle the genuine threat Tyson might bring, or will there be more to this fight than meets the eye?
So that question is for him. Does he need, at this point in his life, he's come back, he's made money, he's you know, all those things. People like him, people even love him. All of that. He's iconic now.
Teddy Atlas praised Jake Paul for his smart, calculated style, a side of him few recognize. Atlas pointed out that Paul's patience and careful shot selection are real strengths, especially against a powerhouse like Tyson.
Don't charge at me, Tyson.
At 6'1", Jake also has a slight height and reach advantage. This edge could allow him to control the distance, using his jab to keep Tyson from getting close enough to land those brutal body shots and uppercuts. Tyson needs to close the gap to unleash his power, but if Jake keeps him at bay, he might frustrate Tyson and find openings of his own.
Does he need it? And it's not for Teddy Atlas to answer. Does he need it? And not does he need it for his bankroll. Does he need it for something else?
Teddy Atlas acknowledged Jake Paul's dedication to training with experienced boxing veterans, crediting his work with top-level coaches and sparring partners for building a strong defensive foundation. Atlas also highlighted Paul's mental approach, saying that his unique confidence, often criticized, actually serves him well in the ring.
Nice. Come on, punching. Yeah.
Go! Sir!
According to Atlas, Tyson's aggressive style might play to Paul's advantage if he can stay composed. Tyson often pushes for an early knockout, but this approach, along with his need to conserve energy, could leave openings as the fight progresses. Atlas suggested that if Paul can withstand the initial onslaught and stick to his defensive game, Tyson's relentless aggression might ultimately work against him.
Jake Paul, he's on the way to like building a legitimate boxing career. He's having real fights.
Part of it is what it's been from the beginning, you know, trying to be the best fighter he can be and see where that takes him. At the same time, building a promotional company, maybe changing the sport a little bit in his mind too.
Yeah, I think at the core he's a good person, and I wouldn't be surprised if part of his motivation for putting on this fight is knowing it will get eyeballs and being able to put on some of the other fighters there.
Past comments from 58-year-old Mike Tyson, in which he firmly stated he would never fight Jake Paul, have recently resurfaced. The considerable age gap between them makes this matchup one of the most debated in sports history. Tyson didn't always envision himself stepping into the ring with Paul. Recently, statements from nearly 2 years ago have re-emerged, with Iron Mike adamantly saying a fight was completely off the table. The exact payout for 58-year-old Mike Tyson's fight against Jake Paul, who is 31 years younger, remains under wraps. Yet back in March, Marcus speculated Tyson could earn a massive $20 million for this comeback. Tyson's been training hard to stay in top shape, while Paul's recent win over Mike Perry has only fueled excitement for the showdown.
Yes, just like that, Mike Tyson. Excellent, Mike. Excellent, Mike. You break him. Unpredictable. Exactly, Mike. Beautiful roll, Mike. Excellent. Excellent. Complete game. Complete game. Beautiful game. Complete. There's nothing to say. You're complete.
Tyson's return seems unstoppable, impressing fans and critics alike, and Jake Paul, eager for his shot at the legend, envisions a packed arena and a career-defining victory. The outcome of the fight will largely hinge on the abbreviated format, crafted to balance Tyson's age and conditioning gap with Paul's. Though Tyson's stamina may not match his prime years, his knockout power remains lethal. Just one well-placed punch could take Paul down. Recent training clips reveal Tyson's hand speed is as sharp as ever, hinting at a surprising level of readiness. Following Paul's win over former UFC fighter Mike Perry, Tyson was quick to signal his intent. He posted on X, 118 days, 16 weeks and 6 days, 17 weekends, 2,832 hours, 169,920 minutes, 10,195,200 seconds. The clock starts now. Before the fight, Tyson even shared a silent clip of himself watching Paul's match on TV.
Alex Pereira, you said you want to box. I'm the king of this. I'm the king of this. Come over. We can make it happen. I want you, Alex Pereira. I just beat a BKFC champion. I beat multiple UFC champions, and he said he wants to box. So Alex Pereira, after Mike Tyson, let's make it happen.
Jake Paul has been urged to reconsider his plans to take on UFC champion Alex Pereira. After securing a dramatic 6th-round knockout of Mike Perry last month, the YouTuber-turned-boxer set his eyes on the reigning light heavyweight champion. Despite the high-profile November showdown with boxing legend Mike Tyson in Texas, Paul remains fixated on Pereira. Against all odds, Mike Tyson is favored to win his upcoming bout with Jake Paul, a fight that will echo through heavyweight boxing history. At 58, the legendary Tyson is preparing for an unlikely return to the ring on November 15th, where he'll face 26-year-old YouTube sensation Paul in a match that has surprisingly been sanctioned as an official contest. If Tyson's comeback goes as planned, he'll be on the verge of surpassing Roy Jones Jr.'s record for the longest heavyweight career, a remarkable journey spanning from 1985 to 2024.
I really like Jake a lot, you know, but once he's in that ring, he has to fight like his life is dependent on it, because it will be.
I truly believe that there's a lot of people who, you know, see me as an arrogant ass, which I can be sometimes, but I'm just having fun and entertaining the world, and I do think that the older generation wants people to see Mike knock me out, but at the end of the day, I also have the kids, the middle schoolers, the high schoolers, the college students rooting for me and want to see me and Mike.
Atlas highlighted that Mike Tyson still possesses the sharp instincts and pinpoint accuracy that allow him to evade, outthink, and land a knockout blow when the opportunity arises. He firmly rejected any notion of underhanded tactics or secret deals, stressing the real danger Tyson poses to Jake Paul. Despite the risks, Atlas applauded Paul's courage for stepping into the ring with such a menacing opponent. He added, "Tyson's gonna come out there, and if you do have an agreement with him, good luck, because I know Tyson. When that bell rings, he might have a short short memory about any agreement other than the agreement to put hands on your chin. Officially, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are scheduled to meet this November in an 8-round match, each round lasting 2 minutes. Despite their 30-year age gap, Paul remains in peak fighting form, sharpening his skills against former MMA fighters. Meanwhile, Tyson is making his long-awaited comeback after nearly 20 years away from the sport. Before diving into his analysis of Paul's skills and mindset, Teddy Atlas reflects on Jake Paul's journey in boxing. He emphasizes Paul's ambition and his willingness to step outside of his YouTube fame to pursue a career in the ring, regardless of criticism.
The American dream. He had a vision, he had a belief. He went out there, he took all his YouTube, whatever you call those freaking things, all his YouTube followers. He went to a different platform, to a different arena. As I said, he had a vision for what he was going to do. And you know what? He had the guts, he had the determination to go out there and color in that vision.
Atlas praises Paul for his determination and willingness to challenge himself despite the criticisms about his opponents. He acknowledges the significant risks Paul has taken by fighting experienced, albeit older, opponents, showing that Paul is more than just a social media personality. He's actively pursuing boxing with commitment. Furthermore, Atlas highlights the risks Paul has taken, especially in fighting MMA fighters, pointing out that while these may not have been traditional boxers, they still had a level of experience that Paul lacked.
And take risks doing it. Yeah, everyone says he's fighting old guys, he's fighting guys that aren't real boxers, he's fighting guys that are boxers but they're not good boxers. All that. He has taken risks. He's been in there with MMA guys that, like I said about Ngannou, you know, they might have been a little older at the time. They might not have been purely a striker. Obviously, they were UFC champions, but they were champions. They were fighters.
Atlas stresses that Jake Paul isn't just fighting easy opponents. He's stepping up and facing fighters with real experience, even if they aren't necessarily boxers. By doing so, Paul is gaining valuable experience that many fighters wouldn't attempt early in their careers. Atlas further analyzes Paul's progression, acknowledging that although Paul is still a work in progress, he's dedicated to learning and improving.
He's still a work in progress, and he understands that, but he's getting better. In his last fight, he was in with nobody, I get it, but he was more comfortable in the ring. You could see it. You know, he's seeing more in the ring, in that difficult cauldron, I call it, that furnace, where guys that haven't been in it before, they get burnt up. He's not getting burnt up. He's not getting evaporated.
Atlas points out that Paul has made noticeable improvements in his ring comfort and understanding of boxing, even though his last opponent might not have been world-class. This indicates that Paul is evolving and could continue to improve with time and experience. Teddy Atlas further praises Paul for his resilience and work ethic, emphasizing that Paul deserves the success he's achieved so far due to his commitment to the sport.
You know, he's got a lot of pride, and again, he went about this business trying to learn the trade the right way, not disrespecting it, and he's dedicated himself to it. He deserves what he's gotten.
Atlas emphasizes that despite being new to boxing, Paul has shown a strong work ethic and a genuine desire to improve. He has not taken the sport lightly, earning the respect of those who see his commitment. Transitioning to Tyson, Atlas comments on Tyson's motivation for coming out of retirement, drawing comparisons to George Foreman's comeback and highlighting Tyson's legacy.
Mike Tyson, of course, has earned the right at this point in his life to make more money, and to prove something, whatever it is he wants to prove. That even at this age, you know, to do a George Foreman, you know, to show that, you know, that Tyson's been a legend. So now he's got a chance to show that all the older people out there, you know, you still can do it.
Atlas believes Tyson is motivated by pride and respect for the history of boxing. He sees the fight as a way to demonstrate that someone like Jake Paul, who came from outside the sport, could never defeat a fighter like Tyson, who was bred for boxing from a young age. Mike Tyson's last professional fight was in 2005, where he suffered a loss to Kevin McBride, marking the end of his reign as one of boxing's most dominant forces. Since then, Tyson has faced various health challenges, making it hard to imagine him regaining his former status in the ring. Despite this, Jake Paul is set to face Tyson in a highly controversial match, with many fighters criticizing the event as a disrespectful spectacle, despite efforts to adjust regulations to accommodate Tyson's age and condition. Evander Holyfield, who fought Tyson twice in legendary battles, is perhaps the best person to understand Tyson's fighting style. In their first bout, Holyfield delivered a knockout blow to Tyson, and in their rematch, Tyson's frustration boiled over during Holyfield's relentless attack, leading to the notorious ear-biting incident that got Tyson disqualified. Holyfield's experiences in the ring with Tyson provide a unique perspective on the mindset and tactics of one of boxing's most unpredictable and feared fighters.
I said, look how much money professional get. Somebody else is dipping in the money. Like that, you know, I think Jake Paul is good for boxing for us to go back and look at and say, you know, hey, this thing ain't right. You know, now these people who not pros, who still taking a chance just like we taking a chance to win because they popular.
While he holds Iron Mike in high regard for his remarkable skill, Holyfield is keenly aware of the dangers the powerful heavyweight poses inside the ring. In a recent conversation with Fight Hub TV, he opened up about the much-discussed upcoming bout against Jake Paul, set for November 15th. Holyfield respects Tyson's legendary skills but remains cautious about the dangers he poses in the ring. In a recent interview, Holyfield acknowledged Jake Paul's speed advantage, but warned that Paul's chances of winning depend on staying close to Tyson. If Paul keeps his distance, he risks being caught by Tyson's swift and powerful strikes.
I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul have in all this, but you know he's gonna be a lot quicker. And if he stay close to Mike, then his chance of winning gonna be great. But he try to stay back from Mike, he gonna get caught.
Tyson and Paul's upcoming bout, scheduled for November 15th, promises to be an exciting clash with 8 2-minute rounds and 14-ounce gloves. Despite concerns over their 30-year age gap, Holyfield urged Paul not to underestimate Tyson's strength, emphasizing the enduring power of the former champion. Holyfield likened Tyson to a snake, always ready to strike at lightning speed. He explained that Tyson is most dangerous when he closes the distance, but if Paul rushes him, it could throw Tyson off rhythm. Still, if Tyson is given any space, he's deadly. Landing a knockout blow becomes inevitable.
Mike is like a snake. He'll pop out on you. He get there too quick. But if you charge him, you're gonna smother everything because everything he push off his legs. He push off his legs so he too close. Like this, but if you give him room, I mean, everybody get knocked out going backwards. Like this, you give him in the room, you're gonna be messed up.
Holyfield also questioned Paul's ability to withstand Tyson's power, pointing out that Paul hasn't faced a puncher like Tyson before. Reflecting on Tyson's career, he recalled a moment when Tyson, exhausted in the ring, walked away, signaling the end of the fight. Holyfield suggested the bout might end quickly if Paul faces Tyson's full force.
But the point of the matter is do Jake Paul take a good shot? I never seen him get hit by nobody.
Or a guy that the power of Mike even up, because power's the last thing to go.
Yeah, I'm talking so that's it. But you never know. Yeah, just like Mike quit in the ring, he got tired and just quit and just sit down. I'm done.
As we approach the much-anticipated showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, one thing becomes clear. The fight is full of contradictions. On paper, the age difference, Tyson's storied career, and his knockout power make him the clear favorite. But Teddy Atlas isn't so sure. He sees Paul's tactical maturity, his defensive improvements, and his hunger for a real challenge as key factors that could turn the tables. As the clock ticks down to November 15th, the question remains, will Tyson's experience and raw strength prove too much for Jake Paul's calculated style, or will the YouTuber-turned-boxer pull off the impossible? One thing's for sure, this fight won't be like any we've seen before. Whether it's a tactical chess match or a brutal knockout fest, this fight could rewrite the history books. Are you ready for the drama? Because Tyson vs. Paul is shaping up to be an unforgettable chapter in boxing's legacy.